the Kansas City Chiefs losing to the Buffalo Bills 30 to 21. I mean, in hindsight, this should have been a late night game, shouldn't it? Really, like let's be honest. I think when they put the fixtures together, I mean, that the Chiefs haven't lost yet. Now they're 9-1, 9-2. Bills are. I mean, this is the first loss of the season for the Chiefs. Thoughts on this game with the Chiefs losing their first one?
Not a surprise, I have to say. I think that I can't remember exactly, but I think quite a lot of us in our pool picked the Buffalo Bills to win.
I've got a feeling I didn't.
Were you the one who went against it?
I may have been the one. I may have been the one out of the 8 of us, or whatever it is.
I wasn't surprised that this happened. I think
I did pick the Chiefs as well.
You picked the Chiefs. Okay. I think quite a few of us went for the Bills. I think that if I remember rightly, is it 2 of the last 3 that have been in Buffalo? I think the Bills have won. They tend to. I don't know. It just felt like the Bills were going to.
I've got since 2018 the Bills were 3-4, and now it's
right. Okay.
against them. So I don't know where home or away.
Yeah.
That does include playoff games though as well. So
I don't know why. There was just I think maybe because of how close the Chiefs were to losing against the Broncos, and just generally they haven't been fantastic. I do have this I do really feel that they do just do enough, and more often than not that gets them the win. It normally does, but it did feel like the Bills were kind of on a bit of a run, have been playing quite well this season, and it kind of just felt like that the Bills were going to take this one. As for the game in general, I just think that the Bills defense just did enough. It's a bit of a funny one. Like I say, I normally go for it like the Chiefs normally do enough offensively, but the Bills just did enough. Really managed to take DeAndre Hopkins out of the game, really took Travis Kelce out of the game. And I think they just went, okay, we're going to take your 2 main receivers out. What are you going to do? And I think that it does go to show that they are beatable.
They had to turn to Xavier Worthy, and let's face it, he's fast, but he's a rookie all at the same time.
Yeah, and also it's very boom or bust. It's like you're either going to get a massive play or you're going to get nothing, and that tends to be how Worthy is. So I think that it's funny, really, because obviously you're looking at a score of 30-21. It didn't really feel like there was much offense played, to be honest. It felt like it was a very sort of defensive game where it was kind of the run game from the Bills was what kind of got them over the line. You look at Josh Allen as a quarterback, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 262 yards. It's nothing special, really, when you look at it. But the run game with James Cook and Josh Allen as well, obviously, really showed the difference there. And I think the Chiefs, I actually think this is going to be a positive for them. I really do. I think that they will get this unbeaten run off their back, which I think once you start reaching 9 games, and I think people are going, oh, are they going to go the whole the season? And that's just what it is. So I think that takes that away.
What's funny is the next 3 games are Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, and they're going to comfortably win 2 of them. So then
I mean, Panthers, Raiders, they should win very easily. I personally think the Chargers are going to be very difficult for anyone on the AFC to beat. I think they are going to be tough. So I think that's that will be difficult for them. But they're just the Chiefs are just one of these teams. They only ever do enough. On occasion, you're going to get found out doing that, and they did last night. But I think there's probably still a pretty strong chance that they're going to be the number 1 seed come the end of this season. And it's a blip, which most good teams have.
I don't even think it's a blip, really.
No, not
because they were competitive in this game. This is the first, I would say, elite quarterback they've come up against since Lamar and Joe Burrow in week 1 and 2, and it's week 1 and 2. You don't, and also Burrow was without a lot of his players to begin with. There was lots of injuries on that team to start the season. we were all quite surprised that Baltimore didn't sort of run them closer in the first game. I know it was a big game, but that was the first game of the season, and but it was the first game of the season, you know, and Lamar's been Lamar now. We didn't know how Lamar would be at that point. We didn't know how Joe would be at that point, I suppose. So this is the first elite quarterback they're coming against, and everyone pounds table of it, and me as well, and it's just reigned so true. Any team can win with Josh Allen in it. Like Josh Allen is that good. And you know what I loved? They were not intimidated. You're coming into our place. We are going to be loud. We are going to be, you know, we're going to intimidate you and we're going to shut you down, even though you've got one of the top defenses. They knew they couldn't run on this defense. So they're fine, we'll throw on you, but we won't keep throwing it. We won't make ridiculous throws. We won't be silly with our throws. We'll be really methodical with our throws. And we'll break you down bit by bit by bit. And that's what I found like really impressive about this team. You know, Allen was 40 throws. You know, it's a lot of throws. 262 yards, a touchdown, and interception. Like that's and he's got the players to do it. You know, I know they've not got Kincaid at the minute, but Dawson Knox was decent. Khalil Shakir is having actually a really underrated season. He's in amongst the top wide receivers in yards. He had 8 receptions, 70 yards on this game. He's been really good. I mean, how good everyone knew it was going to be good, but how good is Amari Cooper trade? Like, how clever was that? Like, I mean, I know some people go like, yeah, but you had Diggs in the building. Different guys, different needs, clearly. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just really impressed by them. And like Mahomes said at the end of the game, like this probably isn't the last time we see them this year. You know, we're probably going to see them in the playoffs at some given point, potentially. And I think you're right. You know, the thing was with it got to 14-16 at half time. You know, the Chiefs down. You think, oh, this feels like what the Chiefs do all the time and just come back and win. But it was really great that the Bills sort of stepped up and really solidified that they are in the conversation to go to the Super Bowl. And yeah, it's one of them. It's one of them where, you know, Mahomes is not playing to his standard. We all know this. So teams are going to look to take advantage of that, but then they know the defense is really good. And then it's maybe a little bit now this season. It's not how do we stop Mahomes, it's how do we break down this defense. And I don't think that's ever been the case with the Kansas City Chiefs until this year.
Yeah, I think you're not far from it. I do think things will change when Pacheco's back. I have to say, I think that's definitely as good as Kareem Hunt has been. I think there is a limit to what you're getting from him, and I just think that Pacheco is a different beast when he's fit, and it looks like that he will be back. If he's not back next week, he'll be back the week after. So I think that will help them out quite a lot. I think they've got very good chance of being the number 1 seed on the AFC side, given where they are at the moment. If they get that, then everything goes through Arrowhead, which is going to be difficult to beat them in. So that's another one. And yeah, I think it's just going to be. I think they're in a position where they're not doing as well as what they have done previously, but at the same time, more often than not, they're going to get over the line because that's just what they do. And it's kind of nice in a way to see the Bills doing as well as they are, because I think that at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of hype around the Jets, a lot of hype around the Dolphins, and it hasn't really happened for either team. Although I think the Dolphins will improve over the next few weeks. But yeah, it hasn't really happened for either of them two teams. And it just kind of feels a little bit like, no, the Bills are still the grown-ups in the room kind of thing. Like they are the ones to beat in that division, and you're not gonna be able to steamroll past them. And like you say, if you've got Josh Allen, then you've always got a chance. So I think, yeah, there's a strong chance that both of them will be seeing each other again.